Welcome to another episode of The Engagement Show. I'm John Chen, certified speaking professional, and this is my friend Roger Haskett with
Well, hello,
Engagement
John.
Unlimited.
How you doing, John? So nice to see you again.
So nice to see you. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that later this month I'm going to be coming up to Vancouver, BC. So I hope I get the opportunity to see you in person.
Oh, when? Like in July?
I'll tell you in just a second. I got to peek at my calendar. It is July. I think 12th.
Oh,
12th. Oh my
soon.
gosh, it's coming up. Week and a half.
Okay, yeah. Let's make sure everyone who's listening to this, you guys, if you're in Vancouver, join us. Maybe we'll have coffee on a beautiful patio. It's Vancouver. There's a lot of beauty.
Well, this episode is called New Trends in Engagement, and Roger and I have a whole collection of stuff to talk about in new trends for engagement. So, and Roger told me too, he's got a whole bunch of announcements he's been sitting on. So, I'm going to let you go first, Roger, and tell
Okay.
us what are some of your new trends in engagement.
Okay, so first of all, the first new trend is right here under my finger. Oh, it's mirrored right there. So this month, actually last month, June, we hit 33 years in business. Isn't that crazy? I shouldn't use that word. Isn't that bizarre? I've lived it. It seems unbelievable that it's been 33 years. And we started as a company doing murder mysteries. We were Murder Unlimited for 5 years, and then we were Actors Unlimited for another like 10 or 12 years. And then we evolved into Engagement Unlimited because all along we've been doing engagement. So the first announcement is, I don't have it up ready. The first announcement is that we have 33 years, which, I think is pretty good.
Well, you know that a lot of the statistics say that a business that lasts 3 years, that's the average lifetime of a business. So you're
Yeah.
30 ahead of that, Roger. You should take extreme joy with that.
I know. It's like 90% of businesses, 80% die in the first 5 years and 90% are dead within 10 years. So yeah, 30. I'm pretty proud of that. And to honor that, let me go back over here. To honor that, what we did is we made a new website. And I am actually super proud of this. We poured a lot of love and time and effort into this. And we discovered a bunch of things that while we were working on the website. Like we have well over 1,100 clients. We have so much social proof that we just put them everywhere on the website, what our clients say about us. But even more than that, we have stats now, 92% of the clients who book us once book us again, which is amazing. But more than that, we did some stats. We have five companies that have hired us over 100 times each. Right? We have that sort of stuff all over. We're recognized around North America, but this is, I actually think, the sort of exciting part. We spent our time figuring out how to, where's the picture for that? How to divide our company up. Oh, look at this. Not showing up properly. Well, isn't that weird that on the day that we want to show the website, something, our first picture right here, I don't know if you can see, where I'm pitching over here, right here, there's supposed to be a
Yes.
picture of keynotes and MCs and facilitation, etc. And so we have four divisions. So we have this first one, which is MCs and keynoting, sort of entertainment, education. Then we have team building disguised as fun. Then we have entertainment, which is just full of so many amazing things. And then we have courses now. So that's part of what we've been doing in the last while, and super proud over here. 33 years, super proud of that. Okay, John, back to you. I've got some other stuff to talk about, but we'll come back to that.
Oh well, thanks for that. I want to ask the first question though. What do you attribute as one of your top things to stay in business for 33 years?
Whoa, that is a great question. Okay, so I would say there's a variety of things. One, we have we're constantly evolving. So
Yes.
we constantly add new things. We're highly creative over here. That's, one of my top skill sets is creativity. So we're constantly making new things, and we have really demanding clients. And so they're constantly demanding new things as well. And so it's not just new. Like, it's not just new isn't always better. It's the idea that we're constantly innovating and we're constantly evolving to meet the requirements of our clients, to meet the changing requirements of the world, to meet our changing requirements. Like, a lot of the growth of my company has been because I haven't settled for what we do. I keep going, well, what else should we do? What else could we do? And what else, this is the most important, what else do I really want to do? That's how I became a speaker, and that's how we met, John, is like, I had run my company for 15, 20 years before I discovered I was a speaker. And that's what I do now. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
90% of what I do is now speaking. And I didn't discover that until 2014. And that was like literally 20 years, 22 years
Hmm.
after my company had started. So I think it's that sort of, I think it's, and I'm passionate, so I follow my passions, like you, John, like I've seen you over the 10, 12 years that I've known you. You adapt and you adjust magnificently to what's going on around you, you know?
I think that's really key. And so here, watch this. We're gonna toast you. This is one of our new talk about new tips and engagement. I credit DJ Will Gill for this, and what he's done is done things like this, which is
Fuck
he
yeah.
he takes top gifts, and he has the ability now to do things like this, right? So we can do things like excited, we can do happy, right? Here's one for you, Roger. Right? I'm king of the
The
world.
world. Yeah.
And so those are one of the new tips of engagement is programming. And so now I have them all on push buttons, like things like this, like a high five, how adorable. And
Yeah.
so there are different ways that we can engage people. But the next trend I'm going to share here, then, thanks again, Roger, for that. I think I'm working on year 28 right now. So I'm like drafting 5 years behind you. And one of the latest trends that Roger's been noticing is that I've invested more and more in National Speakers Association. And so it's beginning to pay off in lots of different ways. And one of them is that I want to give a shout out to my friends in NSA North Texas. North Texas, one of the things, if you stick around NSA long enough, is that chapters will begin to invite you
Yeah.
to come to speak to them. And what was great about this is like this is a Talkadot too. Another new trends in engagement is to get feedback, and that Talkadot to me is one of the top tools to get this feedback. We run it, and look at these things. This is a new feature they put on here too, which is this is an AI summary of all of the
Okay.
comments given on here. And so if you read this part, John Chen, CSP, delivered the best session we've had in the last 3 years. And let me tell you, these are all National Speakers Associations who are coming to speak here, which is a
Yeah.
gigantic piece here. And that, at least one person here said this is the best in 3 years. Also, things like this went beyond my expectations. So,
Mm.
this is one of the greatest parts around here is to see feedback like this. I also want to share, let's see, one more piece around this. That Talkadot has created a new summary page. So this is their summary page. And now this is set up for meeting planners. So meeting planners can see my name, what I'm about. Here are some of the best photos and videos that I have. But look at this, Roger. Now I've got 1,600 pieces of audience feedback, and that 99 said it was valuable and 98 would see it again. And so these are valuable things, and that they can come in here and then also see feedback from a collection of talks from all sorts of different attendees. And this is one of the things they're trying to do is make the job of the meeting professional easier to figure out like who should your speakers be. So those are some of the new trends in engagement that we see going around.
Well, I am so happy and excited to see, like, this is what like. This is how I think of it. Like, the better technology supports great speakers, the
Yes.
the better it is. Because like when I started speaking, even like 12 years ago, really the only like there weren't any of these features. So really, like, you collected testimonials. Like, so when you had 1,670, I'm like going, that is amazing. Like, I have all over our website, like all of these impressive numbers, because the social proof is the currency of
Yes.
speakers. Right, like the currency of, I mean, of good companies is social proof, right? Like word of mouth is still number one valuable way of hearing if you should be doing something, liking something, moving, trying something out. And it's great to see the technology is sort of providing this, because John, you're an excellent speaker, and it's wonderful to see that this is providing you that um, the resources and the platform to be able to say to clients, I really am a good speaker. Like, it's not just me saying this. Like, really, I am. Um,
Yeah, the others saying it, and I'm working on a lot of people's speaker reels, including my own, and it seems like the top two features right now, one is the logo page. Like if you had an 1100 logo page of the people that you worked with, that would blow most people away. Like I collected probably 60 of my top logos, and I scroll through them in
mhm.
one of my pages. But the other one then is the page of testimonials. So we take 1 to 7 word clips from all these testimonials, and then fill a whole page of them. So that people see them all at once. And those two things right now seem to be one of the top features
Say that
in
again. Sorry,
hearing.
say that again. The second part was the testimonials, just putting a ton of testimonials.
Yeah, so I start with one.
Yeah.
So one was like the most engaging keynote ever, was like the quote. And then it starts filling around all the rest of the screen is what other people said. So exciting. So, blah, blah, blah. Love this, right? Changed my life. Or I got tangible takeaways. Whatever. We took all those clips from those, again, we
Yeah.
can't print 50 words, but we can print like the 1 to 3 keywords that they said. And that is something I think that's very impactful for
Yeah.
people who are trying to figure out, should I work with Roger or John or should I not?
I love it. I love it. I have a piece of material, like collateral, that's called "Straight from the Horse's Mouth," and it's just exactly like all it's all it is participants' words, because it's value. It's potent. Okay, so I want to talk about another trend.
Okay.
So let's get rid of this screen. I was just showing some of my testimonial, like some of my logos. So I started
Yeah.
off with the logo carousel of like 5, and I was like, this is nuts. I've got so many. So I made it up to 15, and then I made it up to 25. And then I was like, I just got to stop because there's so many. But I love your idea, John, of layering so many, because for I don't want to get sidetracked from my next point, but it is really potent, and it's like to be able to say, hey, look at the amount, just the
Yeah.
amount of people who think that what we do is amazing, right? Like, okay, so the trend
Great.
that is happening 2025, holy cow, is not just last minute bookings, but it's emergency level booking. So in the last 3 months, maybe 3 months, we have had 4 what I would call emergency level. So that's where, instead of like a last minute booking, I would say is like, a 2 weeks out booking, a week out booking. That's like sort of last minute. But when you get called and you have to fulfill a gig within 12 hours or within 10 hours or within 36 hours, this is what we've been doing more and more. Like, so yesterday on Canada Day, so that's our national holiday, the day before at 6:58, so 7 o'clock, I got a call going, hey, we made a mistake. You're supposed to be booked for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we didn't finish the process, but we still are doing the event. Can you be here at 9 o'clock? It's 7 o'clock in the evening before the holiday. And so, within 2.5 hours, we had it cast, we had it costumed, even though we had to go out and buy different costumes for the different size characters, et cetera, et cetera. So what we're finding is that last minute has moved into like almost emergency, where it's like 12 hours, 24 hours. And this is our fourth, as I said, in 3 months where we're getting those type of, and I love the fact that, we not only fulfill it, but we fulfill it with our regular expertise. And so the client comes back and is like, not only did you save our butt, but you were like amazing. So you were like, as great as we thought you were going to be, if not better, and you saved our butt, which is only, which is one of the reasons why we have a 92% rebooking rate, because our clients go, yeah, you are able to fulfill all of our needs, including emergency needs. And I think that this is just what we're experiencing in 2025. I think this is going to continue. I don't think this is aberration. I think that we're going to see more and more last minute bookings, and we're going to see more and more emergency bookings.
And why do you think you're seeing last minute bookings? And speaking of which, I want to say hello to our friends Terry Frank Stamulus. Hello from Long Beach. She promotes Route 66. And Lanella Tabor is calling from Bend, Oregon, where she used to work in Eastern Washington, but I believe you might be working from Bend, Oregon, Lanella. So, yeah, why do you think there's more last minute bookings? I have a couple maybe guesses, but I'm not sure. I would love to hear what your clients are saying.
Well, I think a lot of it is because companies are struggling. I think that companies are really struggling with
Mm.
I think there's a lot of people who like there's a lot of people sick these days that weren't sick before. There's a lot of remote teams. There's lots of fissures in teams where someone is leaves and they aren't able to fill it, right? So there's all these, and I think that events, ironically, even though they are some of the best bang for your buck, you can really make a difference at an event, at a
Yeah.
meeting. What happens is that they're, of course, pushed to the end. And so they're the last thing. It's like, oh my God, we have a meeting and we have to fill it. We have to have entertainment, or we have to have a keynote, or we have to have an MC, and we haven't really thought about it. And it's now 2 weeks out. We have to do it. So I think I think that's the biggest reason. Michael, who, works with me, my
Yeah.
brother, he's like, also the difference is that what used to happen was like you'd have 4 emails to solidify everything. He says now you need 20. And because I'm not sure why that is, but there's now that sort of uh, depth that is required. So that also takes time and energy, etc. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. Short booking would be like, I mean, one, it kind of gets into the COVID part, which is like maybe the senior planners are gone and now you have new planners, right? Because senior planners those are the people who are looking way forward, right?
Yeah,
They're playing 20 chess moves ahead all the time.
yeah.
And if you don't have the experience, you don't know all the things to look for. So that might be one of them. I mean, the other one would be to change your mind at the last minute, right? Like um, you didn't think it through, or somebody important says, I think this is important now, and it wasn't important 2 weeks ago.
Mm.
So, but I am hearing this one on the trend side. I can tell you, I'm hearing a lot of uncertainty, that lots of companies are experiencing uncertainty. So one of the other parts too is they don't book you in advance too because they don't know what the environment's going to be like. So they don't want to, for instance, like you don't want to hire team building when you're going to lay off people, right? That's like never a good message. And so that if they have this kind, if they have all this uncertainty, you can't finish making decisions. And
Yeah.
once you can't finish making decisions, then you leave it to the last minute, and then somebody has to come in and save you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have another. You just tweaked something else, and so John, I totally agree with those. I absolutely those are 100%. So I think the other thing is that I think that one of the changes is that in 2025, in spite of all of the challenges that we're dealing with, in spite of
Yeah.
like we're all dealing with challenges, like
Right.
life is challenging these days.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And in spite of all of that, I think that what's happening, which is super exciting, is that engagement is rising up in understanding and recognition. And I think that people literally are starting to go, no, 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 we're not going back. We're not going to go back to where someone's talking at us for 8 hours. We're not going to go back to where the rooms are darkened. We are not important. And the only person who's important is the person on stage. We're
Right.
not going back to that. We're not going back to where we're satisfied with entertainment that doesn't really get engagement. That, we're not satisfied with a meeting that actually doesn't provide real value. We have so little time now, and there's so much demand for our attention. We're not willing to put up with things that aren't good enough. Like, or sorry, that we're not willing to put up with things that are good enough. We want things to be
The
even
next
better.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's part of it as well, that people are starting to look around and going, okay, well, we only have a little bit of time, but we need to really lift this event. And when you need to lift the event, who do you call? You call people who are experts at engagement. You call keynoters who are amazing. And you don't just put up with someone who's available. You find the person who's going to really make a difference. So maybe it's that
Yeah.
as well.
Well, I think, one of the things is like lessons from COVID is like, I'm traveling. I'm actually traveling a lot more than I did, before I actually lost all my airline status. I'm back on MVP,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
gold.
yeah.
But one of the things that I do is I do book usually extra days before and afterwards because I really want to go and see a city. And I just did this. I just came back from St. Louis. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Amy Narishkin and family. They took me in and we got to go sailing. We actually went to the St. Louis Museum. We went to the Botanical Gardens. And it was just great to really take time to experience things in a city instead of just like drop in, do something, take off. And so, I think it's important that maybe people they're seeking experiences, which I also think is another important part. And maybe now too, it's another 5 to 10 years, right? The generational thing is also starting to show up where I think that, some of the newer workers are starting to demand stuff that's more meaningful.
Mm.
Right, they'll come back and give you feedback like that was old and that was stale, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to stick around if that's what you're going to be. Like I think you got to freshen up some of the stuff. Meanwhile, Roger, I wanted to show you that this is what this is what I wanted to show you. This is the logo screen I worked on. Right,
Nice.
so check this out.
Oh, oh.
And
So
so
this is what I want. So, oh, it's so good. Um, Yeah, it's that's exactly right, John. Like, so we have on our old testimonial, on our old site, we had a testimonial page that when you
yeah,
went to, I just kept adding to it because for me, part of the value, like it was a visceral experience that I wanted to give to my clients. What I wanted them to do is to start looking at these testimonials and be like the best ever, the greatest, the best, most laughter, and to be like, oh, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, whoa, what's going on here? It's like, holy cow, it won't stop. Oh my God. And it just kept going and just kept, I mean, really, like it would just keep going. It would still be going. Like when you look down the side, you'd be like, the toggle would only be halfway down. And you'd be like, I've already spent 3 minutes looking at testimonials. Anyway, I think that is a massively potent way of overwhelming clients with how much value you provide. Yeah.
well, Terry says, have you spoken at ASAE or MPI? MPI is yes for me, but not ASAE. I think I've attended, but I haven't spoken there. I don't know if you've had the same.
Yeah, I've spoken at ASAE. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Whatever.
Society of Association Executives.
Yes, I in Colorado, in Colorado Springs, at a very beautiful hotel. I can't remember the name. Oh, it was so.
All right.
Anyway, and that was the play at that conference. As I was coming down the escalator, someone was coming up, and they went, "I saw your talk. I need to talk with you." And so we ran down, and I booked. And at the bottom of the escalator, I booked another gig. Um, you know. Okay. Anyway, yes.
I got one more trend here on my side. So I got asked to lead a panel. So
Mhm.
this was a real talk at MPI's World Education Congress. That's what WEC stands for.
Mhm.
And it was called Real Talk, Cultural Competence, Allyship Beyond the Basics. And what's great about this is that, DEI is a difficult topic right now, if even not being talked about. But cultural competence is often the things that people are talking about because just a lot of people I've been talking to just say that the culture around the place that you have is what helps either people stay or leave.
Yeah.
Right. This is like that version of engagement. And so we got people from all different aspects of here. And I just want to share, like normally panels can sometimes be stale. So I injected a bunch of cool new stuff inside of this panel. Number one is this is supported by Paul Van Deventer. He's the CEO of MPI. And look at this article. He said, an inclusive, forward thinking community is what's going to help the events industry thrive. And so he's coming around and saying important things, I think, around this. And so what was important is that I took the time to really meet with all of the panelists beforehand and that all of us talk. Because the series is called Real Talk 2, I wanted to set the stage and find out, could everyone feel like they could take the gloves off and really say anything that they wanted to say? Right. And so while we said, okay, we're not going to go around politics, but we want to say positive, but we definitely want to talk about impacts that have happened. So for instance, actually, there was a Canadian company that was going to come meet in Seattle. and I think the executive for the company was trans, and he says, "I don't feel safe going to America." So they actually split the conference. They had a smaller version in Seattle and the other back in Vancouver, BC,
Yeah.
and then sometimes join the two conferences together where they were keynoting to each other. But these are real things that are changing in the events industry based upon what's going on. So
Yeah.
the fun part around this is that I instituted two other key important things. Number one was ask us anything. So I had a QR code. This QR code was up all the time, and people could ask any question to this panel. And I actually had an iPad on stage, so I was reading their real time questions and figuring out when to put them in. The second one is something I call Unpanel that somebody shared with me over the past years when they got sick of panels. I think it was Darren Nerlin at least introduced the idea to me, and he said, "You can any panelist can answer any question they want, but they only have 60 seconds." And this is really valuable because what happens is the panelists first get all the best information out in 30 seconds, and we found like we answered over 60 questions in a 60-minute panel.
Okay, I got to interrupt for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna steal that because when I'm moderating or emceeing whatever, one of the worst things about panels is the one question gets answered for 5 minutes, and then someone else talks about it for another 3 minutes, and then someone else corrects something for 2 minutes, and then they go back and talk about that. And all of a sudden, you've had one question and 12 minutes is gone. And
Right.
and you really aren't getting 12 minutes of information. You're really getting a couple minutes of important stuff, and the rest of it is, I mean, sometimes the 12-minute discussion is really important. Like, I don't mean to imply all of them aren't,
Right.
but what you just did is cut through, like, because you can always say, hey, let's give a little more time for that. Like, we need, hey, that question deserves a little more time. Let's
Yeah.
give it, but let's not let panelists ramble for 4.5 minutes before we really sort of get an answer. Yeah.
And what was great about this is that, again, on the audience, audiences love this because even if they don't like the question, they just wait 60 seconds, there's a new one.
100%.
Right. And then soon their questions started getting injected. Although we created a section called Nasty Questions. And right, the topic was allyship. And we wanted nasty, so we're playing off of stuff that's happening here. But I thought that nasty questions was a good title, and so we started brainstorming in the early planning session. And one of them came up with a question. I thought it was so deep. They said the question was there ever a time you regretted being an ally?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
many of them, some of them said no in the beginning. Other ones immediately had answers. But what it gave to the audience was a perspective they weren't thinking about, which is like, right, you think that we can present allyship like it's always great, it's always it's rainbows and unicorns, and it's not.
it's not.
And
No.
this is what made it real talk. And so I just wanted to share that as a success. And again, I was the moderator for
Yeah.
this, right? While I added small pieces of content, the thing that I was trying to add value was how can I extract the most value out of these four peoples who have been in the industry 20 plus years and in 60 minutes. And we got some phenomenal feedback, and we were allowed to record it. We're trying to find out if MPI is going to give us permission, so I can actually show you this in action, Roger.
Yeah.
It went really, really well in that part where people came away and they had continuing conversations. That was the other cool part, Roger, is that we actually
Mhm.
got allocated an all communities meetup afterwards, and many people who were in the audience then had smaller table discussions for the next hour where they could have more like one-on-one conversations, one with each of the panelists. So that was a really cool way to like take a panel and like elevate it beyond, most normal panels.
Oh, it sounds amazing. And adding in the extra hour afterwards is brilliant as well, because one of the biggest challenges about moderating panels is that you get half the answer, or it makes you think of a new question, but you don't get to it. No, John, those are super smart, super smart ideas. I can see why people hire you, John. It's,
All right, well, you got any closing messages for today or any other additional announcements, Roger?
yeah, I was gonna say, what was I gonna say about um, oh yeah. So for panels and for when I'm facilitating or doing certain types of keynotes or workshops, I have what I call Roger's rules of engagement. And I mean, there are, my book is all about Roger's rules. So I take off, Roger's rules is a brand of mine. But it's not my rules. There are rules to engagement. Like there are rules to make it so that your interactions, whether it's a moderated panel or a workshop where you're just getting feedback, it's all about the people who are there, and you
Yeah.
want their ideas and their energy to be what we're dealing with and what we're talking about. They're just like, it's just ways of making sure that you don't get sidetracked, and that your idea of a nasty questions is part of that. Is like how you need a way of talking about things that still puts power into things that are challenging. Right? That's why, I mean, I get brought in to facilitate because you want to work through issues, not because you just want to celebrate, right?
Right.
Anyway, John, I have no more than that, aside from it's so great to see you again and interact with you. I hope we get back to doing these more often.
And hopefully, I will see you in Vancouver, BC, coming up soon. If not, all right, we'll do something else. But hopefully, all of you who are watching, and again, thank you again to Terry, Linnella, and some of our other friends who are watching this live. We appreciate you. And this is, of course, one of the other top techniques. Give your people who engage with you a shout out, for crying out loud. Those are the amazing people. This show doesn't mean anything until somebody watches it. So, Roger, thanks again, and I look forward to sharing our next set of tips with all of our friends here on the Engagement Show. We'll see you next. Oh, wait, hold on. I got buttons in the place. We'll see you next time. There we go.